Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Board of Education meeting. I'm going to call this meeting to order. In accordance with the state's Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting was provided by sending a notice of the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda of this meeting on January 5th, 2024, and May 10th, 2024, to the Home News Tribune and the Times, posted on the district website, placed on the board office, and in each of the district schools, and sent to Plainsboro and West Windsor public libraries and Plainsboro and West Windsor township clerks. Dr. Russo, may I have a roll call?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Cheniera.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. Maliga.
Yes.
Ms. Shetty.
Yes.
Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes.
Ms. McKeown.
Yes. And we didn't have a closed executive session, so we are actually going to start with a special public hearing and presentation on Policy 2361, the acceptable use of computer networks, computers, and resources. It will be presented by our Director of K-12 Technology, Peter James. And we'll have a presentation up on the screen as well.
Thank you. So, welcome this evening. Students, great to see you. Board members, thank you. This is our annual review of the acceptable use policy 2361. Really quick, just an overview. Acceptable use is exactly what it means. Since we are a school, anything that furthers the educational program as directed by the teachers, the staff members of WWPRSD would be considered acceptable use. This is going to have parts that refer to both students and staff, but I just wanted to kind of overview this with, think about this in its most simplistic form of, if it's for the furtherment of their education, it is acceptable. And that's the basic guidelines that really run the whole thing, as we'll get technical or more technical on various parts, but that's the general gist of it. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, I'm Peter James, Director of Technology for the district. Really enjoy working with you and your families and your children as we go through this. So again, the components of the policy really speak to the purpose of using technology here in West Windsor-Plainsboro, which is really a reflection of using technology in the world. The responsibilities of the students, the responsibilities of the district with regards to using technology appropriately and effectively, standards, access, and system access, which is really what technology has become, is this connection to information, the world, each other, parent notification and responsibility. We'll get into some liability and due process just to make our board attorneys happy. Kidding. And then also the rights of our parents and students. So again, access to district devices and accounts are really meant for education. The important part from this is that we really are following and making sure we're doing things in compliance with CIPA, the Children's Internet Protection Act, and put processes and steps in place to monitor and ensure proper use. This is why when students are using devices for school, we want them to be on their school accounts. We need them to be using these in the ways directed by their teacher, because that ensures that we can then follow up and support with whatever materials, programs, applications are provided for their educational learning. At the same time, that if they make choices that are going off task, we have insight into what that is and how to help redirect and bring students back onto task. Also, same thing when staff are acting with any of our websites, Google sites, anything on our domain, emails, we really are moving into a direction that ensures that they're acting as themselves. What I mean by that is using their account, first name dot last name at wwprsd.org, just like students, graduation year and initials and at wwprsd.org. Brings everybody into, on our domain, acting as themselves, so there is a record, there is history, there is support that can be offered if things don't go as they are supposed to. So that is the purpose of the accounts that we provide. The district will set up individual accounts for students and staff. I think it's important to note those accounts are district accounts that the student is using, the staff member is using to do schoolwork, to do school-related items. That is how we maintain the insight into these things. Provide access to storage for digital work. With regards to students, this really is your Google Drive. With regards to staff members, there is also a Microsoft Drive shared, as well as a Google Drive. Ensure that we're complying with all federal and state laws. Again, this is the COPA you've heard to, Children's Internet Protection Act, Online Protection Act, that really refer to all the firewalls, all the filtering systems we put in place, really just ensure that we are, to the best of our abilities, protecting our students from inappropriate content, information that's really not for school use, but at the same time making sure that we're granting access to the things that are for educational use. Again, taking steps to protect the school's network from cyber attacks. We've got a multitude of devices, staff members supporting in making sure that, let's see if I can get back, sorry. Of course I did that without a mouse to get back to. Gonna just bump the, thank you, Ms. Camella. So I apologize for that. I just clicked a little too far, too fast. One more, please. Thank you. Back. Sorry. And two more. No. I'm sorry. You don't mind. I apologize for that. Apparently it's been a while since I've presented to a board and I'm now all of a sudden nervous. Somebody told me to speed up. Okay, here we go. So, again, those are the things the district will provide. So this is about, what the student now needs to do and looking at the responsibilities of the student. So really the school will educate the student on safe practices. This starts in our programs in middle school about how to use online safety, about what to do. I'm at the responsibilities of the school will, if you're following along on your desk. And again, that really it's part of our program, it's part of our instruction. It goes back hand in hand with any time a student is using the internet and really, what is safe, what is appropriate, what's for school, what's being done there. Again, the educational program is meant to foster the appropriate student use. So guidance as we're building in projects, research, explorations online, making videos, what is appropriate use of that? How does that further the education? How are we showing the physics experiment versus just posting a video that's fun to watch? And then finally we get to the school enforcing the code of conduct. Really, poor behavior with technology is poor behavior. The with technology part just becomes a medium for doing that. And so anything that would be breaking school rules still kind of falls into, if technology is used, it's just another way to do that. And the school would enforce the general code of conduct with regards to anything that was inappropriate or inappropriate behavior. The user will maintain the security of their individual credentials and not share with any other user. This goes back to the whole idea that we would really like for our students and our staff to act as themselves when they're online and use their district accounts when doing district work. Use their school account when you're doing school work. Just trying to kind of make sure we're clear on that point, because we sometimes get ourselves into trouble when we try to play games instead of doing schoolwork, and now we've got a chat running with 30 other students not doing schoolwork in a Google Doc. Problems happen. So, standards of use. Again, students should abide by law, governing bodies on publicly owned and operated networks. So this goes back to properly using the school network. Really would mean doing research when you're doing research for a paper, building and using the applications, whether it be for mathematics or science or language arts, in the appropriate ways. I know the popular discussion right now is how AI is being used, and really that does come back to making sure that we're being transparent about it, that we're talking about this with each other, that when it's prohibited, it's communicated that it's prohibited, and when it's allowed, it's communicated that it's allowed, and students are being transparent about how they're using it when they do so. Same with staff. And then utilize network and devices provided to advance educational purpose. I think we've covered that through a couple of the discussions here. System access. All employees have student access, and students have access to the internet through the district networks. This is our open WWP network that allows for any member within our school properties to access the internet. It is a filtered internet, as we've discussed, and then also a secure network that gives a little bit more credentialing to the staff and educators here as they're using various applications specific to those needs. Personal devices may only connect to the internet. That's what we just discussed really with the WWP network that provides that open access. I use quotes because it is filtered. It's not just an open network. District staff may create user accounts for students to access online educational resources. That really is the technology department. We create the accounts, we manage the accounts, we make sure they're being maintained and used appropriately. Parent notification and responsibility. The district will notify parents of the policy governing technology use. That's tonight. As our public hearing, we include this in our student handbook, and also the code of conduct spells out how technology is to be used within the district. There's been one of my favorite parts of this job is working with parents to make sure that if they have questions about what's going on, how they could better support their children at home, you know, using the district provided Chromebook, what's appropriate, how do I limit access, how do I provide more access? Those are great conversations that I do love working with parents on, so thank you. Thank you to your friends and neighbors, for everybody that we've worked with to make sure that they feel comfortable with the devices coming into their home and how they can best manage their children and their children's growth with the internet as access. Liability and due process. So again, we're going to now talk through that any personal device brought onto school property, the district is assuming no liability for. I got that right? So, thanks. So again, really that's just more of the, if you bring it from home, it's your device, we are not managing it, we are not updating it, we are not putting any software on it, we're not spying on it, it's just, it's here, you've connected to the internet and you took it home, awesome. The district will cooperate fully with local authorities, state and federal offices. This has to do with our memorandum of agreement with law enforcement and how if they've requested information or we come across anything that it seems to be of an illegal nature, we do communicate and reach out to law enforcement immediately. Student infractions to the policy. Again, we've talked about this. It kind of goes back to code of conduct. The technology department works with the administration and the parents to understand, sometimes it's hard to tell when something's being used in a way that it shouldn't be. And so we try to help just clarify, that somebody may have tried to use a virtual private network to get around firewalls or to try to download a game that they shouldn't have or to try to install something that shouldn't be on our network. And we need to make sure that we help both administrators, parents, students, and the community really understand that if that's not allowed, this is what happened, this is why it wasn't allowed, and here's how we move forward. Yes, sometimes that involves consequences, but more important, we're here for education. We're trying to educate students and families into appropriate use within the schools and how to really take those steps forward with once you have a job, once you have something beyond this, where to go. Employee violations are handled in accordance with district policy. And again, those are really, again, notification of the superintendent and or human resources, and we follow the appropriate process to work through a staff and investigation and dealing with any potential violation. The rights, the district retains the right to access of files and emails that are created and stored in the district accounts and devices to ensure compliance with the use for educational purposes as stated in the policy. Again, this goes back to we have supplied an account, a network, a file to store things in. This is all because we want you to do schoolwork. We want to support that work being done. We want to ensure you have access to those things. It also means just like when you are working in outside of a school, if it's from a company, if it's from a corporation, if it's from a public entity that you've been provided that material, you need to keep that in lines with what the goals and regulations of that company, organization, public entity are, and therefore we do, like I said, manage the domain of www.prsd.org, and that's how we manage your accounts. Verify that if there's an issue that comes up, we have access into Google Drives, emails, etc. We're just letting you know that we do that. Educational materials and products created by users are subject to the freedom of speech guidelines as are print materials. So again, that's really just a statement to say, yes, we follow the freedom of speech guidelines. Thank you. any questions.
Thank you, Mr. James, for a really clear presentation on the acceptable use policy. Does anyone on the board have questions? Go ahead, Lloyd.
Just kind of related, I know you mentioned that for like educating students about like safety and whatnot, it started sort of in middle school. Is there a thought of like maybe starting sooner as younger kids? I mean, even in my fourth graders' school, I know there's some, issues of social media, internet access, and all those kind of things that pop up. If there is any, what ways are those age groups kind of addressed with the safety online and cell phone use and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, and thank you. And I believe, the programs I've been connected to and involved in very closely with have been really more the 6th, 7th grade programs through the cycle courses. But that's not to say that they are not parts of our curriculum or parts of what we do with our younger students, specifically around appropriate sharing of information, appropriate sharing of their information, and what they're creating within those classes. There are technology classes at the K-5 levels that I know these items do come up in those classes. I can't speak to a formal program in the same way that I know that it is brought up as social media starts to evolve a little differently with our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. It's really targeted at engaging them at the time of that. I'm going to defer a little bit to our curriculum, and instruction.
It's part of our K-5 curriculum, so the students have technology and computers. It's incorporated into the curriculum, K-5 as well.
Thank you. I'm sorry for the long answer that was misinformed about the K-5. I apologize.
No, and just one more, I don't know if this is the right form, but, sometimes when I'm volunteering at the school or doing something at school, like the connection is really slow, or I just don't get any connection. I think many parents and family members experience the same issue. Is there a way to kind of work on that? Sorry, that was a selfish question, but just curious.
Understood, feedback received, and I will take that back to our network team, but thank you.
Thanks, Lloyd. That was not a selfish question at all, because I think everyone's thinking the same thing, and I believe Rachel has a question, and then Dina.
Hi. So, quick question about, I think it's common now to see phishing attacks. We see it in our personal emails at work, and I was just curious if there's any training or guidance provided to not just to the staff, but even students, if that comes through. Like, do they know what to do with them, not to click on those? So is there anything like that that's provided to them?
Absolutely. So to speak back to phishing attacks, several years ago, we actually started implementing phishing ourselves to gather information on what's happening with staff, with students, et cetera. Just the information on students was really just more watching. It wasn't so much of a back and forth. With that, we started at that time also reporting out to staff, to students, multiple times throughout the year, that when they met any suspicious message that is not trusted, and providing them the specific directions through, because we were using a Google platform, through Gmail, in order to report as phishing or to mark as spam. Fortunately, in most recent days, I've just had a couple where we had legitimate emails that went out to staff that I needed to dig out of and send back. Which is a much better scenario than being in the opposite end of people clicking on things that we don't want to be sharing with. So yes, there's work being done. Yes, there's more work to do.
Oh, thanks for the question, Rachel. And Dana, you had a question.
Okay, I may have asked this before, but I want to know the answer again. So if you're logged in to your school account, but you might have other things open on your browser, can the district see those things?
We cannot see anything that's not done on our domain.
Okay,
So
if you're logged in, like on Chrome, using your school account, would you, for example, would you be able to see that? Yes? No?
So the answer is yes and no, depending on the device that you're on. With regards to a district-provided device, yes, we can see that. But that's a district-provided device which has the Chrome application on it, which only allows you to log in with your school credentials. If you are logged into a personal device with your school Google credentials, we're going to see things you do in Google on the www.prsd.org domain. But if you go to espn.go.com, you're at ESPN, and we don't know that. Browsing history would show if you're logged in, but not the actions taken in that browser. So, it's kind of one of those tricky components of there are clients on the Chromebook that allow us more vision, but that's because it's our device. We've put that on there. We don't put them on your home device, so we wouldn't know beyond the browser of where you've gone, and we aren't looking unless there's a reason to look. Okay.
All right, thanks for the question. And this side of the table, any questions? Go ahead, Liz.
You had mentioned the MOU with the police departments. So what types of partnership activities or outreaches have you done for the community, and what are some examples?
Sure. Relatively recently this spring, we worked with the GMS PTSA about a safe internet use, really building relationships and conversations between parents and children about internet use. We've been in discussion with the Plainsboro PD to do a similar one on the other side of town. And again, that's the big part of the outreach portion of this, along with the course curricula and what we've gone through in our courses. The follow-up part to that is, again, it's just really that memorandum to share information as it comes through, which again goes back to in the event that there's a legal issue or something that comes up that might be a crime that needs to be reported, that's where that would head to.
Thank you.
No problem.
I could just add to that, the DARE program is significant with regards to internet safety, healthy decision-making, social media, and both law enforcement at West Windsor and Plainsboro push into our classrooms in 4th and 5th grade. So that's a significant partnership for us with the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
Great example. I remember the DARE program. Any other questions from this side? No? Okay, so we're going to move on to the special opportunity for public comment on policy 2361, the acceptable use of computer networks, computers, and resources. The board invites thoughts and reactions on policy 2361 from members of our community who are present. Each participant is asked to give his or her name and address prior to making a statement, which will be limited to 3 minutes in accordance with board policy 0167. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. This public comment period shall be limited to 15 minutes. Do we have any public comments? Seeing none, I'll adjourn this special opportunity for public comment. And I'll turn to Dr. Adderhold. Do you have any comments as we start?
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that are just joining, we started with the presentation, so we're moving back up to comments. I just want to make a couple brief statements. One, congratulations to both of our athletic departments on the outstanding North-South cricket match. It was truly a spectacular event of pride within our community, and the athletes that participated, the joy in the community celebration was amazing. So just very proud of that program getting off and starting in the district. Also want to just recognize our 2024 WWP Educators of the Year that were announced just this past week. At Dutch Neck, Stephanie Burnett, first grade teacher. At Maurice Hawk, second grade teacher Marion Harpel. Over at Town Center Elementary School, special educator Kelly Fox. Over at Wyckoff Elementary School, first grade teacher Sharon Refson. Over at Millstone River Health and Physical Education teacher Christopher Petrone. Here at Village, fifth grade teacher Carol Murphy. Over at Community Middle School, technology teacher James Fiacco. At Grover Middle School, teacher of mathematics Craig Frame. Over at High School North, teacher of mathematics Artie Allen. And over at High School South, teacher of language arts Ellen Glassman. Congratulations to all of those teachers and on their recognitions by their colleagues. Here in WWP, our teachers help recognize our teachers. So these are folks that were recognized by their colleagues, nominated to a committee, and then ultimately named by their peers. So tremendous congratulations to all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adderhold. And now I invite our wonderful student representatives to give us a report this evening.
All right. Thank you so much again. Good evening, everyone. Starting off strong this week and last week, AP testing has been taking place. Friday is the last day for all students to take their AP test, and makeups for this test are next week. Fingers crossed, everyone gets the grade that they're looking forward towards. Secondly, next week, HSN has delayed opening for seniors and sophomores because for juniors and freshmen, they have testing. Also next week, next Thursday, HSN is hosting their first annual field day. We have worked closely with Mr. Thomas and the PTSA for the field day next week. Some exciting events that our students can take part in are a bouncy house, teachers versus students football game, and food and fun. Also next Thursday is the annual Red Cross blood drive. Sign-ups for those blood drives are taking place this week. I too have also signed up for donating blood, so hopefully that goes well too. June 8th, our SASA, South Asian American Student Association, is hosting their SASA end of the year final event. This year will include a plethora of dances that stem from South Asian origins. On June 12th, our PTSA is running a senior celebration. There are events at the senior celebration that include a henna artist, DJ music, inflatables, food, and more. And additionally, on June 14th, our senior prom is taking place. This year, the prom is at the Hyatt Regency. I'm very excited for prom this year. And finally, graduation will be on June 19th. I'll be sad to be leaving the school district that I've been a part of for the last 12 years. All right, now I'm turning the mic over to both our South representatives.
Okay, thank you, Mahir, for sharing about North. Now for the more important part of the evening. Okay. So let's talk about what's happened at South recently. So we had our Spring Spirit Week, which was followed by our pep rally, which was very well attended, including attendance from a delegation from the Beijing National Day School. So some peers from our AP Chinese classes helped with translation, and members of the delegation engaged with our students and sought to implement some aspects of our curriculum in theirs. So they came back from pep rally, with a fresh sense of South school spirit. Like Mahir said, AP exams are ongoing, and they're going to end this Friday, yay. So I guess you could really say I pushed my way through mine. Our South PTSA also provided lunch for staff for Teacher Appreciation Week and sent out flowers. So, both of us, or all of us, are very grateful for the staff and for the PTSA for what they do.
South has been very active in recognizing AAPI Month, Jewish Heritage Month, and Mental Health Awareness Month. And in doing so, resources have been shared and implemented in classrooms. This includes guest speakers who have been brought to our media center and who have spoke about various selected topics. In terms of club activities, our South Student Council hosted their annual movie night recently, and additionally, our Model United Nations Club hosted their annual South Mun event, which turned out with great attendance. So we're very excited about that. And South Debate is running their annual Big Questions event that they host later this week, debating about objective morality. So we're looking forward to that as well. And in terms of sports, one program specifically stands out to us this month. Not the cricket program that you mentioned. Our spring track and field program had an amazing showing at the Coaches Classic this past weekend. And specifically, South would like to highlight our 27-year record broken by one of our very own juniors, Anastasia Kudin, in the 400-meter hurdles. So congrats to her.
There are also a lot of exciting things upcoming for South in the last few weeks of school. So our choir has some performances in the coming week. So on Wednesday night, they'll have their Masterworks Choir concert at the Princeton Chapel, in which North and South choirs will be combined. And then again, the combined choir will have an orchestra concert on May 31st at a war memorial. So hopefully that'll be a high note of the month. We also have we'll also be having our senior scavenger hunt this weekend, hosted by our class of 2024 class council. So I'm looking forward to that. And our senior prom will be on June 7th at the Westin at Princeton Forrestal Village.
To wrap us up, we wanted to talk about our South's Student Council's first annual showing of our program called South Night Live. It's supposed to recreate Saturday Night Live a little bit. That's coming up, and it's our first annual show consisting of a variety of games and live skits, making this an interactive show. And one of our very own people here, Eliana, will be one of our contestants representing the senior class in this competition. So we're very excited for that and looking forward to a big turnout. It is May 30th, so very soon. The same day of our senior prom, June 7th, we also have our class council and student council election. So I know a lot of our underclassmen are looking forward to that and getting to try for new positions. And to wrap us up, there are students teaching teachers faculty meeting will be happening at the end of the year. So clubs and activities can make presentations centered around identity, and the staff will have an opportunity to go from presentation to presentation and learn a little bit more about student culture. And I will bring this back to Mihir for his final thing to say.
All right. Before we end off tonight, I want to thank you all for granting me this opportunity for this past 2 years. Over these years, I got to meet such amazing and wonderful people that I wouldn't have gotten if I hadn't gotten this opportunity. I do love this job, and I look forward to presenting every time, mostly because I love meeting new people, and I love hearing you guys' laugh. So even though you might not hear it a lot, I want to say that I'm grateful for everything that you have done, for the system, the school district that you've built and supported throughout these past 12 years of my life, and I want to say thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you for that sweet wrap up, and as always, very informative, entertaining, and punny reports from you guys. Before you skedaddle off to enjoy the rest of your evening, I just wanted to share with the public that tonight will be the last meeting for 2 out of our 4 Board of Education student representatives, as Mihir Shankar and Eliana Du will be graduating this year. Mihir is a member of the High School North class of 2024, and Eliana is a member of the High School South class of 2024. It has been a pleasure to have had Mihir and Eliana here as our student representatives for the past 2 years as our high school liaisons. So first, Mihir Shankar has been a dedicated leader and a consistent advocate for his school community throughout his high school career at North. This is Mihir's second time as a board liaison for High School North. In addition to serving as our board liaison, this school year he is the vice president for North Student Council Executive Board. He has played a major role in hosting large school events like Homecoming, the Tonight Show, with a K, and the upcoming new school-wide event, North Day. Mihir is well known for maintaining his composure during the most frantic times when planning and executing these big events, so kudos. And after graduating, Mihir intends to attend Cornell University and study computer science. While his ability will be greatly missed, we are excited to see what Mihir will accomplish next beyond the walls of WWP. Next, Eliana Du is a highly involved senior at High School South. She has been involved with South's Peer Leader program, mentoring and supporting small groups of 9th grade students during their first year at South. Eliana can also be seen being a buddy to new South transfer students, including helping them to find classrooms, make connections, and just feel at home at South. If she isn't leading an after-school club, such as the math club or journalism club, you might find her on the tennis courts, as she has been a member of the varsity tennis team from 10th through 12th grades, and she was named co-captain this year. Eliana has been spending her summers working on her passion, mathematics. Whether it be at the Hampshire College Summer Studies and Mathematics program or doing research in Dr. Shen's mathematics education program, she has kept her summers busy learning and growing. Eliana is a vibrant part of the fabric of High School South, We all wish her much success as she attends Princeton University next year. And we missed Johnson this tonight, but I do want to acknowledge Johnson Lin, who is currently a high school North junior. He was appointed as a board liaison this year based on his increasing role within North Student Council and his connection to peers throughout the building. In addition to serving as our board liaison, Johnson was Secretary of Student Council and helped organize and run major events. He was especially critical to the Tonight Show event, where he managed the booth and helped fix multiple issues that came up with the audio. Johnson was recently elected to serve as president for the upcoming 2024 to 2025 school year. He is also actively involved in both Model Congress and Model UN as part of his extracurricular activities. In the future, Johnson plans on studying both international affairs and education. Next, last but not least, Rachel Joseph is an 11th grade student at High School South. When not attending Board of Education meetings, because they're very exciting, I know, she can be found leading the South Varsity Girls basketball team. Off the court, Rachel has been involved in student council for the past 3 years, peer leaders, and joined the High School South South Asian American Student Association, or SASA, this year. Outside of school, Rachel is highly involved in her church handbell choir. In addition, she has been in Girl Scouts since 6th grade, which shows her dedication to volunteering and the mentoring of our younger scouts within the community. Rachel finds her way into all aspects of student life at High School South. Sorry, don't want to cause any drama there. And we look forward to seeing her flourish into one of our strongest leaders in her senior year. Mihir and Eliana, on behalf of the Board of Education and the WWP community, we thank you for your service and commitment to your school, your peers, and your community. We all look forward to seeing the impact you will have on this world when you graduate high school next month. We wish you a wonderful end to the 2023-2024 school year and much success as you begin the next chapter in your adventure. To Johnson and Rachel, we also thank you for your service and commitment. We hope to welcome you back to our board meetings next year. We wish you all a wonderful end to the 2023-2024 school year and a safe, healthy, and enjoyable summer break. Thank you for joining us this year. And we do have a couple of presents for you if you want to come up and receive them. Let's give them all a hand. This is great. Next, we will turn to our regularly scheduled agenda. It's our first opportunity for public comments. The board invites thoughts and reactions on agenda items and items of concern from members of our community who are present. Each participant was asked to give his or her name and address prior to making a statement, which will be limited to 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. This public comment period shall be limited to 60 minutes. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, we'll close this public comment period. And we do not have any Board of Education committee reports, as the committees have not met since the last public meeting. So we can move on to the voting portion of the meeting. Can I get a motion for administration items 1 through 4? Dana and Liz. Any questions or comments?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. Cheniera.
Yes.
Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Krug. Ooh, you're back again. We changed the order around to try to go with the committee person first.
Oh.
Next is Ms. Maliga,
Yes.
Ms. Shetty,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana,
Yes?
Ms. McKeown.
Yes. We don't have any items under curriculum and instruction, so moving on, can I get a motion for finance items 1 through 32 plus the blue addendum? Louisa and Shweta. Any questions or comments?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Ho,
Yes.
Ms. Shetty,
Yes.
Ms. Cheniera,
Yes.
Ms. Krug,
Yes.
Ms. Maliga,
Yes.
Ms. Ovid,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana,
Yes?
Ms. McKeown.
Yes. Moving to personnel, can I get a motion for personnel item number 1 plus the green and orange addenda? Loy and Rachel, any questions or comments?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Cheniera,
Yes.
Ms. Ho,
Yes.
Ms. Krug,
Yes.
Ms. Maliga,
Yes.
Ms. Shetty,
Yes.
Ms. Ovid,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana,
Yes?
Ms. McKeown.
Yes. Now, before we move on, I would like to acknowledge 3 retirements that we just voted on. First is Robert Peterson. He is the High School South music teacher, retiring after 35 years in district. Then we have Colleen Spicer, High School South health and physical education teacher who has been with us for 33 years, and Eileen Collins, Maurice Hawk instructional assistant who has been with us for 26 years. Thank you for your years of service and dedication to WWP. We wish you well, the best of luck, and a well-deserved retirement and new adventures. Thank you. Next, can I get a motion to approve the Board of Education minutes from April 30th? Robin and Liz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any board liaison reports? Okay, seeing none, do we have any new business? Okay. That takes us to the second opportunity for public comments. The board invites comments from members of our community who are present. Each participant is asked to give his or her name and address prior to making a statement, which will be limited to 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. This public comment period shall be limited to 15 minutes. Do we have any public comments? No? Okay, seeing none, I will close this second opportunity for public comment. And can I get a motion to adjourn? Loy and Louisa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.